How to get out and redevelop a social life. Where to meet people. I'm 27 and female. I'm trying to improve myself. I've fallen into this rut where I just work and come home. Recently tried dating someone, but having nothing else going on in my life caused me to be clingy and overall just coming off as a boring person. It ruined what could have been a great thing. He lived in the same place all his life and had several lifelong friends. Seeing them hang out every week, get together for game nights, go to the bar and just do various activities was a wake-up call for just how lonely I've been living. I've moved around every couple years my entire life and I never got the chance to develop lifelong friends/relationships. I'm also pretty shy. I have two close friends, and I've been trying to make contact more often, but they are both married with multiple kids and hanging out outside their household is next to impossible most of the time. I've finally settled into a somewhat small town area, but there isn't a lot going on out here. There is a bigger city I can drive to, but I have no idea what to do once I get there lol. My plan is to start by finding a job where I interact with people more. Currently I spend most of my day in a vehicle and don't get a lot of human interaction. I also wanted to put some fulfillment back in my life, so I applied to a couple volunteer positions. I'm going to start exercising and eating better so I can have some more self-confidence. So the only real problem here is just making more friends. Like I'm going to be 28 in April. I'm almost 30. How do I go about making friends from scratch? Tried looking at the Meetup app, but due to COVID there's really nothing there besides Zoom meetings and I just can't connect with people that way. It feels like I'm starting my life from scratch, and I'm terrified, but I know I need to get out there. Too long didn't read, just need advice on how to get out during a pandemic. Places are open around me again, I just don't know what to do. I just recently went through this too. I'd always had a circle of friends while I was in school and college and grad school, but then I moved to a new city for work and found that making friends was a lot harder when the environment to do so wasn't created through a school structure. I got along with my co-workers but had to keep that somewhat professional, and now all my grad school friends live 2 hours away. What I did was took dance and yoga classes. That gave me an opportunity to meet people and expand my circle. And it was a quick fix for some instant social interaction while waiting for more close friendships to click or develop. Pick a hobby you've always wanted to try and see if you can find a class. And if you're trying to exercise anyway, you can accomplish two goals at once by finding some fitness-related class to go to. Of course, during COVID all bets are off. So give yourself a lot of grace because it's not exactly easy to be making friends when you're not supposed to be interacting with new people. It sounds to me as though you're very much on the right track. A more social job, volunteering and joining groups via Meetup and similar methods are all good, constructive routes to expanding your social life. The big elephant in the room at the moment is COVID. That is inevitably going to limit your opportunities at the moment. The virus won't be here forever, but it probably does mean some patience and compromise for now. I would suggest finding a few groups/societies centered around activities you enjoy and taking part, even if they are currently Zoom only. It's not the same as meeting face to face of course, but Zoom etc. will at least give you the chance to plant seeds, lay the groundwork and build something that could translate into meaningful social interaction when COVID recedes, as it will inevitably will. Activities and topic you genuinely enjoy are the ideal choice because A, you will be motivated and B, you will be enthusiastic, which is always an attractive quality. I can relate to this post on so many levels. Nearly everything you said matches my experience. Still trying to get through it too. I am also 27F and ended up in the same situation a couple months ago. I met some cool people on Bumble BFF. For every 3 people you meet up with, only one of them really has a shot of actually becoming a more long-term acquaintance/friend, but hey, even if it doesn't pan out, at least you're getting out of the house and out of your comfort zone. Also started reaching out to some old contacts that live in my area like hey, wanna reconnect? Etc. Yeah, it's kind of awkward, but what do you have to lose, you know? You're getting a lot of good advice here, but one thing I'll add is try to not turn down any invitations. I used to get invited to a lot of things but would turn it down because I was too tired, felt like they weren't really my crowd, or felt like they were just inviting me to be polite. By just forcing myself to give it a shot, to reach out and follow up with people who invited me, always with the catch that I could leave if I felt uncomfortable or not attend next week, I've met a lot of people I really click with that then invite me to do more things. I think this is really hard during COVID, but keep it in mind for afterwards at least. Not everyone you meet has to end up being a close friend, they can just be a friend that you enjoy hanging out with from time to time that you then meet more people through. We are moving in, but I, 30F, can't handle my spouse's, 37M, pet. My spouse, 37, and I, 31, have been together for a few years and we're taking the next step to move in together. I have kids, and we each have a dog. We have taken things slowly to ensure both him and my kids are comfortable and ready, as well as with introducing the dogs and gotten them used to each other slowly over the last year. However, and I feel guilty even saying this, I have a hard time handling his dog. He barks all the time. If we are sitting on the couch and one of us stands up, he barks. If he's sleeping in his bed and a car drives by, he barks. If we even look like we are putting jeans or shoes on and might be leaving, he barks. If we show any kind of affection to each other, he whines and barks. There are other things but this is the main one, the rest is normal dog behaviors, begging for food, licking, etc. that you would expect dogs to do sometimes. It's not a lack of not taking care of him either, he takes care of him and I've seen constant efforts to correct the behavior and stop the barking. I honestly just think the dog has high anxiety and that's what's causing the barking. I don't know. I understand that it's an adjustment and I need to make an effort to get used to it, but I have been trying to get used to it slowly over the past couple of years. We spend a lot of time at his house, and I just can't imagine living with it every day. We sometimes joke that even though she is a big dog, my dog isn't even a real dog. Very quiet, doesn't get into things, non-barker, respectful of space/boundaries, so I knew it was going to take some getting used to. It's just now that we are close to the date I don't know how I am going to do this. We have had some conversations about how I am feeling, but I don't think he fully understands how much his dog is to handle. He knows I am struggling with it, but I can't find a way to explain just how much without it sounding like I hate his dog. I honestly don't hate him. I just want to be able to be comfortable in my own home, and I won't be able to do that when there is constant barking, or I would rather, say, just be thirsty than get up and get a drink because I don't want to be barked at. I am mostly just looking for any advice from anyone who has been in this situation and anything that may have helped them overcome it and work through their feelings. It's an older dog, so I am not even sure if training would be an option. Too long didn't read. My boyfriend's dog barks constantly and it's almost making me dread the idea of moving in together. Edit, spelling. Has your BF sought the advice of dog experts? Has he looked into professional training courses? Has he talked to his vet about a possible anxiety diagnosis/treatment? I've found you can teach an old dog new tricks to be inaccurate. Taught both of my most recent dogs new tricks when they were in their teens. Is the dog barking for hours on end? The way this reads, he's just vocal, and some dogs are like that. Like some cats never make a sound, others just non-stop talking at you like they are dictating a manifesto. Oh my god, non-stop talking at you like they're dictating a manifesto is going to be how I'll describe my cat from now on. Dogs that bark all the time are nervous and it's not healthy. It is rather easy to train, but you need to be professional and very consistent. Tips to get started: whenever he barks, remove him from the room. Dogs are pack animals, so they see this as a sign that the behavior they are showing is unwanted. This is the most efficient one, but don't feel sorry for him and keep being consistent and you will be amazed at how fast this will change his behavior. Distract him. This depends on the dog. Some will bark even more. You can clap your hands, or throw keys on the ground. Food can also help. Raise and give him treats and attention whenever he doesn't bark or play with him. Like I said, the best way is to remove him from the situation. Do this consistently and you can even have it solved within a few days, as dogs are very clever and pack orientated. You have to have your spouse on board with this though, otherwise it will not work. Oh man, yeah, that would be rough. I'd say a trainer is at least worth a shot. Try that long before I try moving in together. I think your concern is valid, and I am a bit worried that living long term with more people and animals in the house might end up worsening the anxious behavior. Given that you also have children, though I don't know their ages, the behavior needs to be addressed before it can escalate. It doesn't even have to be aggressive. A very nervous dog can get scary for kids and their friends, jump up on people who don't know how to handle it, etc. I agree with others who said to have your BF go see a dog trainer. It'll not only improve your quality of life but also the dog's. How do I, 30, and my GF, 28, survive this lockdown? So my GF and I have been together for over 8 years. I love her into infinity, and as far as my latest information go, she still loves me as well. I'm a very extrovert person whilst she is more of an introvert, so for her, the lockdown has been a lot easier than for me. She enjoys herself playing games, watching series or painting. I miss the interaction with my friends, who for the most part live 300 kilometers away, so I don't see them often. We are stuck in a small 40 square meters apartment in a German city in which I don't know anybody. She is often voice calling with her friends, and even though I'm not jealous of her having contact with other boys, I'm jealous of the attention they get, as where I'm often begging for attention, but don't get as much, as our hobbies are quite different. Her sexual drift is a little less than mine, and because we've been struggling the past months in our relation, we haven't had sex in 6 months. Normally, we had it regular, with sometimes a dry spell of a few weeks. Not being able to be intimate with her drives me crazy, but I'll manage as long as I know it comes back eventually. She says it will come back eventually, when our relationship is on its old levels again. I'm too often making arguments maybe out of nothing, and I think I'm having the bigger share in this situation than she does. I have always known she is an introvert, and I like that part about her, but this situation with no events, sports, parties etc. around me make me really attached to her, to a point where she thinks it's annoying. It went better for quite some time. I gave her more space and spontaneous kisses, and a little intimacy came back, but if we get into an heated argument, we are basically set back to zero. I love her a lot, and when all this lockdown stuff is over, I'm sure we will have a lot of fun again, and we wouldn't be as trapped in a cage as now too. We both had multiple long-lasting relationships, and this is the most fun we've ever had. We complete each other, but the lockdown didn't bring out the best of me and her. Do you guys/girls have any tips on how I can enjoy myself more during this time? And also important, how I can respect her own quality time more? And do more people struggle being in lockdown? Thanks guys. Too long didn't read. From a great relationship pre-lockdown, we are annoying each other during lockdown. Own relationship, don't want to give up on it, and I'm sure it will be 100x better after lockdown. How do I not ruin our relation during this lockdown? I don't have any useful advice, but I know being in lockdown has been extremely hard for many couples. Maybe it's a good time to just take a mental step back and look at the bigger picture. Have a conversation to acknowledge that the lockdown affects you both differently, and come up with a plan, together, that you both agree on, for moving forward in the future. Something like, maybe deciding not to overly worry about the problems occurring within the last 6 months, and see what happens when lockdowns are lifted and normality ensues. What I'm really trying to say is that neither of you should act rashly right now, because it's very extreme temporary circumstance for a lot of people.